Yes, yes, people, what is good? Welcome back to another episode of the Bad Blood podcast video series. Let me just quickly switch my mic. I don't know what was going on there. Thanks for tuning in. Listen, it's been a week of firsts again. This is the first week since we've done this show where both teams have failed to collect 3 points. So yeah, man, I would like to think that your result was a bit more positive than ours. In fact, I know your result is definitely more positive than ours, but I think relative to where you're trying to get to, it feels like probably maybe one or two steps backwards for you, man. But how are you doing anyway?
Um, Given the circumstances, I'm happy with. Well, I'm not happy. I'm okay with a draw. We're 5 points off City. Um, we proved to everyone that this Liverpool team aren't as good as people think they are. Um, yeah, I mean, like, hopefully Gabriel's injury isn't too bad. And if you look at it, if Gabriel he's fit, and I'm seeing Odegaard is returning to grass training, we pick up 6 points from Newcastle and Chelsea before the next international break. There's a point at home to Liverpool when we were depleted, when the all-conquering midfield of Gravenberch and McAllister and Szoboszlai coming to our ground and needing a goal in the last 10 minutes if to rescue a draw. In the context of things, I don't even think that's a bad result. It's bad if you it's annoying, it's disappointing if you're winning 2-1 up, but given the situation, a point is not actually really a bad result if you look at it come this stage at the end of the season. Or come end of the season, not this stage at the end of the season.
Mm, mm, mm. We're gonna touch on a bunch of the things that you just mentioned there, man. I think it's only right that we start off with the biggest game of the weekend on this platform, and there's a couple of points that actually I want to go through because before we get into the narratives that are being set off the back of the game, the actual performance itself, then fair to say that it was a game of two halves from your perspective.
Yeah, it was. It was a game of two halves. Probably that's the only criticism we give of Arteta, that he delayed making changes. Um, yeah, he delayed making changes. To be fair, I guess the injuries didn't really help with that. But it didn't even before the injuries to Gabriel, even before Gabriel and Timber went up, it didn't look like he was gonna do anything about changing the game state, which is probably the only thing you could give him a critique for. But it nearly worked. We've done it. We've done that a couple of times this season where basically we just let teams have a lot more of the ball, but because of our off the ball structure is so ridiculously good, teams may have the ball, but we restrict them to very, very low quality chances. You see City as an example, you see Spurs away as an example. So I wouldn't that's my only critique of Arteta yesterday. I think he got like 90% of everything right, really, given the circumstances. It's just I probably would have made those changes, bringing on Ethan a lot quicker because there was space there on the counter where we could have done a lot more damage if people just had their head screwed on. Martinelli just went back to the Martinelli before that little bit of form he got. Havertz tried his best to be an outlet, but it wasn't enough. We didn't really do enough on the ball. I mean, if you're going to play that way, you got to be ruthless on the counter, be very incisive, very very clinical. We didn't have that. I think there's nothing. People, it's a different story if when we have the ball in promising areas, we do something with it. But people are good, but we didn't. So people are naturally going to be, oh, we sat back, we sat back. But if you look at it, yeah, we kind of let them have the ball, but they didn't really create. Their best chance was the Salah chance. They didn't create anything really, anything of note. Like, so you're looking at that thinking, man, and plus what happens if Gabriel's still on the pitch or still on the pitch? I don't even think we can see that goal of Salah because there's who's the lead in the back line, directing traffic, telling everyone what to do. Saliba's good at that. Gabriel Magalhaes is good at that. None of them are on the pitch, so I don't really think it's that bad a performance from us given the circumstances.
Yeah. I think I'm inclined to agree, I think I'm inclined to agree. I do think in the first half, I thought you lot were quite clearly the better side. I
Yeah,
felt
slap them.
Liverpool's midfield was marginalized.
Graven
Saka,
who?
everyone, huh?
Graven who?
No, he
Gravenberch.
wasn't bad.
He
He wasn't
wasn't
bad.
bad,
He wasn't bad.
but Declan Rice showed them, man, what a real midfielder is. His best performance of the season by a mile. All three of them got munched. Curtis Jones,
Yeah.
McAllister, all three got matched by one guy. Crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah, continue.
Declan Rice played very well. I thought he was really, really good. I thought definitely best performance of the season from the
Facts.
games I've watched for sure. I thought his deliveries are ridiculous, man. Like what? His deliveries for both the free kicks, I said, yo, this is insane. How can you put that much whip? He put it right on the sixpence
Legit
for
there
Mourinho
on the
twice.
plate. Like, how do you
Twice.
curve it? How do you curve it round the wall the way he
It's
does?
mad.
It's mad.
It's mad.
Absolutely mad. And
It's
people
mad.
want
But
to people want to criticize us scoring goals that way. Do you know how much? Do you know how much technique and skill is needed to even pull that off? It's crazy.
yeah,
But yeah,
listen,
continue.
it was Declan Rice played well. I think there were a lot of good performances from Arsenal in the first half. I thought your defense held it down. Um, I thought your defense held it down. I thought Bukayo Saka gave Robertson hell. Oh my goodness, bro! Like
Roasted
he
him. Roasted him.
torched Robertson for 45 minutes straight, and even the goal
Roasted
as
him.
well, man. The goal. You know what's mad? The goal actually reminded me of what Mo Salah did to Zinchenko at
Exact.
Anfield. Literally carbon copy of what Mo Salah did at Anfield. Mo Salah stripped him of his soul and just smacked it top bins.
There's a statement I'm gonna make, but I don't know if I should make it yet. But when he did that, I believe that was Saka announcing, "Yo, I am Sal." Our names both have two A's in it and one
Oh,
S,
piss off,
and
man.
we both
Piss
play.
off.
We both play on the right wing. I personally believe that was Saka announcing, "Yo, when this guy dips out, I'm gonna take over this right wing berth as the number one in the Premier League." Because he is. Who's better than him? It's only Salah, and you
In the
can't say
league,
in
on
the
the right
league.
wing.
In the league, I'm talking in the league, Premier League.
But then there's not. I agree with that, but I don't think there's much competition.
Yeah, there isn't, but I'm saying in terms of levels and quality performances, Saka's gonna put himself up there because this guy's consistency is stupid right now. Stupid. Put him up. Put him up against anyone. Put him up against any left back, whether in form, out of form. He's doing business. That's literally all I wanted to say. That was it.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree. I think he's at a stage in his career now where he's almost guaranteed to make an impact in a big game for me. Like the guy just performs. Like I don't really think there's much more that needs to be said on
Right
him.
wingers in world football, probably only Yamin Lamar is better than him.
Yeah, I think Mo
Right
Salah
wingers.
and Yamal, those are the two I have ahead of him.
Yeah, Mo Salah and Yamal. That's it.
Outside of that, yeah, I think he's better than the rest. I think he's better than the rest.
Yeah.
I think but that's on Bukayo Saka. But I think for me, Liverpool, they responded quick. They responded quite quickly, and I was even shocked by that as well. And they did you on set pieces as well. So that's the second time. That's the second time in 2 games where you lot have been done on set pieces. Talk to me about that because Gabriel's still on the pitch, Timber's still on the pitch then, and you lot conceding from a set play.
Yeah, it's just poor concentration, similar to Bournemouth last week. I find it comical that this is 2 weeks in a row we got done off a set piece. I think that's something they definitely need to take a look at because yeah, I just don't think the concentration levels were right. Because even if you look at the goal, I don't even think it's something. I don't think it's a structural thing. I just think it's players just switched off. That was it. Because you look at the goal that Liverpool scored, Havertz switches off. You really telling me Luis Diaz beats Havertz in the air? Really?
Yeah, that's poor.
Really?
Very
Nah,
poor.
you switched off, bro. And then okay, cool. That Van Dijk, okay, the second header. He wins the first and second header. Why does Van Dijk have that time? Like who's there? Why is no one cutting it out? I mean, it wasn't even well worked by Liverpool. I just thought it was poor. It was just a lapse of concentration by us, and we undid the good start we made.
I think it was decently worked. Good cross from Trent. Good header from Diaz.
Yes, it was, but then Havertz shouldn't be losing an aerial duel to Luis Diaz. Come on, Luis Diaz, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, Van Dijk I get, but Luis Diaz, come on. But
No,
well
fair,
worked by
fair.
them. Well worked by them. I give them credit for that. I all I'm saying is I expected a sterner test. I saw nothing from this Liverpool team that tells me these guys are going to be they're going to be in amongst the pack come the end of the season.
Well,
There's
let's
nothing.
let's let's get into that because that was actually going to be one of my talking points, right? Because like I think one of the things, if I'm an Arsenal fan, and there are individual performances I think from both teams that we can touch on because I thought Konate was brilliant. I
Yeah, he was
thought
good.
I thought Thomas Partey was quality for Arsenal yesterday. I thought Van Dijk was all right. In fact, I thought Van Dijk played well. And to be honest, I actually thought in the first half he was marginalized a little bit, but I thought in the second half he actually started like stepping up a little bit. And that's Darwin Núñez. I thought Darwin Núñez and Mo Salah, they obviously stepped it up when certain players on your pitch started to
That's
sort
the
of
thing.
fatigue and pick up the injuries.
It's good that you mentioned Nunes because people are going to look at his performance and be like, oh, yeah, whack. Didn't do much offensively.
You know,
But what? But in second half, there was a moment where he comes in and he kind of like barges Saka with his butt, basically, right? And doesn't win. It could easily be a free kick. It's not. But what he did a lot that helped Liverpool is he dropped into midfield a lot, and he actually helped them wrestle initiative up us because we were counter pressing them to death. Their midfield could not get on the ball, but I almost felt like he had to sacrifice a little bit of actually staying in the threatening areas to give Liverpool, let's just at least get on the ball. Let's do a whole control thing. And it worked because then we seeded a lot of, yeah, we seeded, people want to look at the fact that we sat back, but Liverpool made changes. Like I like what I saw from Slot. Made
Slot.
changes, was reactive, he wasn't waiting around, you know. And I think definitely Darwin Núñez gave them more impetus, brought them back into the game. I think, and then of course, what I liked about him is that he was willing to do the dog work, the dirty work. But when it came to it, he stretched us. His running in behind it stretched us when Gabriel went out, Timber went off, and yeah. If Gabriel and Timber on the pitch, do we concede that goal? Probably not. But yeah, he took advantage of that, moved to caught Kivior in a bad position. Him and Miles Skelly put on a plate for Salah, goal. So I actually thought he gave them
They
a
were
lot
clinical.
more
They were
impetus.
clinical. They didn't like. I agree. They didn't create much, but what they created, they scored. And I think that's one thing I can say about Liverpool in that game. They were not good. I thought they were actually very, very poor in the first half. And to be honest, I actually don't rate their second. I think they were much better in the second half. But I mean, against what Arsenal had left on the pitch with like 15 plus minutes left on the clock, I wasn't impressed with what they were able to throw at Arsenal. But I do think there is some credit, like you said, that needs to be given to the likes of Núñez, to the likes of Salah
Yeah,
for stepping up a little bit in the second half, to the likes of even Sabozza. I don't rate him. I think he
he
stinks,
did
but he
well.
came on and he helped them get some control back in the midfield because they were just getting beat up, man. But
He
Callister
did
was
well.
useless. Curtis Jones played poorly for me. Yeah, so but yeah, back onto the initial question. So you made that statement. You don't think they're going to be in it come May.
No,
What's
I
your
think that
rationale for that? Is it a squad quality thing? What's the rationale?
um, it's weird because their attack is better than their attack on paper. Their attack is ridiculous, but if you take away Jota, if you take away Salah, is their attack really that good? Gakpo's been mad, but he can't really get games. Diaz is in good form, but is Darwin Núñez
He's not even in good form recently. He
Liverpool
started the season well, but he does
started
that
the
thing,
season
Diaz, where he always
right?
starts the season well. I'd say the first 2, 3 games, he starts it off. This season is probably 5 or 6, but then he just coasts. He just
Yeah, I'm looking at Liverpool, and I don't think they're as complete a team as Arsenal, which is strange because they've got. If you ask me whose attack would I take, Liverpool's or ours, I'd probably take Liverpool's. Obviously, I'd take a few players from ours. Probably the only player I'd take from ours is Saka. That's it, and maybe Havertz. But if you're offering me Gakpo, Diaz, all of these guys, Jota, I'm taking all of them, right? But Liverpool, they're just not a complete. They're not as. I don't know what it is. They're just not as complete, just not as mature a team like Arsenal. I feel like Slot has done a fantastic job in terms of coaching them well, and you could see what he was doing even from pre-season. I think he's done a really, really good job. But I think Liverpool are where we were at maybe 22, 23 season, where there's a good team there. They're going to be in and amongst it. But when it really matters, they'll probably fall away. I can't really, I can't, I can't see them doing anything against the likes of City or us over a long stretch of the season. And I think you can
Interesting.
get at them. I think you can get at them. I think that their centre back has been good, but I think you can definitely play through their midfield. You can definitely move to their midfield. You can slap them up. And I think if there's no Jota there, if there's no Salah, okay, cool. Where's the incisiveness? I can't. I don't think they're all that, to be honest. I think they're a good team, but not really.
Yeah. I don't think, me personally, I think outside of Gravenberg, I don't think their midfielders got going this season. And I like their midfield. I like a lot of their midfielders. I think McAllister, I think he's a very good midfielder. I'd even say he's a quality
Yeah, he's a
midfielder for
baller.
me. But
He's a baller. I'll
he's a
take him at
he's a
all.
baller. I don't think he's got going this season properly. I think Curtis Jones, he played well against Chelsea, but when I've watched Liverpool this season, I can't say wholeheartedly, oh, Curtis Jones has been a consistent performer. And Szoboszlai does all the dirty work off the ball, runs hard, presses well, but on the ball, he's useless. He's absolutely useless for me. And
It's just strange
I get it.
because at RB Leipzig, he was fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the Prem, but he just looks useless in possession. He doesn't play incisive passes. He's not a goal threat. He doesn't really. I don't think. I think his use of the ball is quite poor. He plays safe passes, and even then, somehow he botches. His pass selection is still dodgy. I don't really. It's mad. On paper, it's a good midfield, but in reality, I think Gravenberch is the only midfielder I can see this season that's performed to a strong standard for Liverpool.
Hmm.
Honestly,
Yeah, he's been good.
but
He's been good.
I think we need to talk about you guys as well because you mentioned it, Arteta. You said that he could have made changes quicker. For me, I had no qualms with the game plan because I think the game plan is valid when you've got certain personnel on the football pitch. You did it against PSG, it worked. You did it against us, it worked. You've done it a couple of times this season, and teams just can't break you down. And then, if anything, you can pick them off on the counter attack. But in this game, where he saw that there's no Gabriel available, there's no Kivio available. Okay, no one's asking him to push your line as high up as he normally plays, but try and be a bit more proactive in terms of trying to win the ball back off Liverpool. I think that pressure on Liverpool when they had the ball was not really there. And it's difficult because I think that pressure stems from you guys leading your press quite high up the pitch. But I do think, like you said, you conceded a bit too much possession when those players went off. And I felt like you were inviting the pressure, but you didn't have the personnel to withstand the pressure.
Yeah, I agree 100% because yeah, I mean, yeah, though we only concede, I would say probably that one chance they scored and they were clinical. Though you're probably looking at it thinking, okay, cool, it's harsh. We probably restricted for all of that dominance. We restricted them to one good quality chance, but still, you conceded one good quality chance, meaning that you can't do this thing and completely shut a team like Liverpool out. If you give them the ball, look, they got players like Trent, they got players like Salah. If you let them have the ball for long spells, they like no matter how good your defense is or how much you believe, they will create something. They will still do dirt. So I think that was just an issue that Arteta was a bit slow to respond to because it wasn't like it wouldn't have needed anything it wouldn't have been anything to ruin our defensive structure. It's more just do what you did in the first half. Step up, get in their faces, move. And this is a great comment, by the way. It came from a high line from Martin. It does come from a high line from us, but if you look at Kivior and Miles Lewis-Skelly's position, they're all over the place in terms of actually judging the timing of Darwin Nunez's run. So I just thought that was more poor defending as opposed to the high line. But
How did you think Marino played yesterday?
I thought he was good. I mean, obviously he had that moment where he's like, "Whoa," and then Salah got in that first time shot. But I think he was good. I've been saying it. I've said it to friends. Obviously, I've said it to Yemi, and I will keep saying it again. I think Marino is a good signing. I think he's a good signing. I think he's going to come good at Arsenal. What I liked about him is every time he got the ball, even when he was dual winning, Like I saw moments where he's on the ball, but my man is turning. What's he trying to do? Trying to find Martinelli, trying to play the ball to the outlets, trying to get the ball, and that fits in perfectly with what we need at Arsenal. Our main aim is to progress the ball properly from midfield to attack, from defense to midfield, and get Martinelli and Saka one-on-one with their wingers. That's what we thrive on, and that's what I saw my man consistently do. Right, I can't fault him. He had a good game yesterday, and this is not even him at his best. What a lot of people don't realize is, bro, like Theo Walcott said it in an interview. When was it? 2 months ago. If you don't have a pre-season, you're already like the drop off in intensity compared to the rest of the first team is a madness. Like you're playing catch up all season. Then add the fact that you're injured 1.5 months. Add the fact that then when you come back from injury, you don't really get time to really train and play with the team. You go on international break and then you come back and you're thrown immediately into Bournemouth away.
Mm.
So I think he is good. I like what I saw from him. It's just a start.
Interesting. I do want to shout out, obviously, because we mentioned it, Konate. I think he almost conceded a penalty. I don't want to talk about refereeing decisions again, but there was a big refereeing decision that was made. Anthony Taylor blowing the whistle before VAR had an opportunity to review the passage of play in full and make a decision. What were your thoughts on that?
Are you talking about the headed
The goal that
Oh,
got disallowed, or I say disallowed. He blew the whistle before the ball went
he
back
blew
in the
the
net.
whistle. He blew the whistle. Now, why you blew the whistle? I'm not so sure. Is like he blew it what for Kivio's aerial challenge? Was it that? Was it that maybe the ball actually hits Kai Havertz here as he's it hits Kai Havertz here as he's jumping for it? Is it that? I don't know. I've not read anything as to why he blew the whistle, but at the end of the day, hey, he blew the whistle. You can't complain. You play to the whistle. That's just basic football. So I don't want to hear no conspiracy. Oh, no, stop it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. One a word, because I know you were waxing lyrical about Bukayo Saka, but I think a word needs to be given on Mo Salah as well, because the guy is just, listen, he's at an age now where he's not going to dominate full games for 90 minutes, but the guy is he's just too inevitable in these fixtures. He's just too inevitable. Like, even when he's not playing well, he will find a way to make an impact. Like, you look at the game against Chelsea,
Especially against us.
he was nowhere to be seen against Chelsea for a good 25 minutes, and then minute 26, he just a switch just flicks, bang, and he's all over them, scores the penalty, and then creates the I think was it in the second half where he created the goal, or was it in the first half? I can't even remember. And then there as well, like he even before Timber went off, right? You could see the wear and tear on Timber, like he was fading. And there was one passage of play where he spun Timber on the halfway line and blammed him, and then came inside, and then I think the pass selection was off, but that was just a little sign of what was.
Yeah, where Diaz was offside. Yeah, he's a fantastic, like Mo Salah, like he's a guy that doesn't get enough flowers in my opinion. This guy, like, it's not a crazy shout for me to say, like, he's the best winger in the Premier League that I've seen play since, like, the likes of Ronaldo. I think he's better than Hazard. He's better than Alexis Sanchez. Like, like the guy, he legit is an all-timer. You see it. Like, even when he didn't have much of the ball, but when he got on the ball, there was fear in our players. Like, okay, what's he gonna do? And there was fear in the stadium as well. When he gets in the ball, you know there's gonna be an issue. So I have no qualms with giving, and that's what's that 8 straight seasons now he scored against us. Like the inevitable, he's like a drug bar to us. It's ridiculous. He's definitely a PL goat.
Yeah, he's super peak. He's super peak. He's just one of those players that just keeps ticking and ticking and ticking, and it'll be interesting to see where Liverpool go with Mo Salah at the end of the season. Yeah, his contract is up. It's mad. All the players that their contracts are up, they all contributed in some shape or form yesterday. Trent, Van Dijk, and Mo Salah. But anyway, I know you have to go, so we're going to keep it short and sweet, and we're just going to move over to Spurs. God, I don't understand why we're so inconsistent, man. In fact, I do understand it, but it just makes me all the more frustrated because we come here and we say the same thing every week. Like Crystal Palace had not won a single game all season. So for them to not only win a game of football, but win comprehensively, like the score was 1-0, but make no mistake, they completely dominated that game of football for me, right? Don't let the possession stats fool you. They had more attempts to our goal, and most importantly, they completely nullified Tottenham. They nullified us completely. They squeezed us high up the pitch. They forced countless turnovers. They dominated the midfield. They restricted us to chances. I think we only had like 2 sniffs, one from Maddison, one from Kulusevski. Outside of that, nothing in the game. Nothing in the game, man. Outside looking in, what do you think is the root of Tottenham's inconsistency?
I just don't think your squad lacks leaders. It's the same thing with Arsenal. Well, it's the same thing with the Arsenal of old. I remember one thing people kept saying about you. Honestly, you legit remind us. Spurs are basically Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. That is legit who you are. They can thrill you with the nice football, great attacking display. They're the team that, wow, they played so good. Did you not see how much they? I remember times when Arsenal were doing what Spurs were doing, and we'd absolutely massacre teams in open play, not take our chances, very frail defensively, and it was so easy to beat us. And the thing is, they kept saying it for ages. They haven't replaced Vieira. They've not sorted out the spine. Blah 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 blah. Guess what? Arteta brings in the spine. Now you see our team. There's a clear spine. There's Saliba. There's Gabriel. There's Declan Rice. I'm looking at Spurs. There is none of that. That's your issue. You just need your issue is leadership. Your team lacks leaders. Like, who's your captain, Romero?
Yeah, and he's been a disgrace this season.
What type of captain does that type of what captain does that type of pass to Van der Ven in your box? Who does that? And then okay, cool. And then where's the communication to the team? Where's like you don't really see that with Spurs, and that's your issue. Your team just lacks leadership, and where there's no leadership, it's gonna crumble. That is literally.
I think it's hard to disagree. I think leadership is one aspect, and we spoke about this against Brighton, but I think it's beyond leadership. I just think, and I think it's a symptom of having no leaders, but I just think sometimes these players, I think there's a multitude of things. I think some of these players, we said it after Brighton, they're just mentally fragile. I feel like some of these players they're technically capable of doing what we need them to do. Like they've got the quality, they've got the resume, but they just don't have the mental fortitude to give us what we need from them week in, week out. So case in point, Basuma. The guy was absolutely atrocious.
Where was he?
He was absolutely atrocious. And the problem is, the alternative is Bentancur, who I actually think he's arguably put in better performances than Basuma in the games that he's played in the league this season. But even he's a problem because there's no consistency between the two. We've got these nice players. They're good players. They're good technical players, but they're just not consistent. You look, it's this Maddison as well. Maddison and Kulusevski, they were absolutely terrible performances against Crystal Palace. And then the defense, oh my days. Romero, stupid pass to Mickey van der Ven. Stupid pass. But Mickey van der Ven has so much time to literally he's let it run across him for one, but he's got, even if you're going to let it run across you, you've still got time to deal with the ball, and you don't deal with it. And then Eze just bamboozling Porro and Romero with the flick. It's just a mess.
That was
it's superb play. It's superb play from
stupid, but like you can't. There's no amount of like that was quality. Like that is how do you defend that?
It's dumb. It's absolutely dumb. So I'm just going through some comments now. So Lee says Glasner knew Ange only wants us to play short out from the back, so he aggressively high pressed us and we cuffed the ball. Facts. He's right. And that's another concern. So we talk about leaders, and when we spoke about what's the symptom of a lack of leadership at Tottenham, there's a player. There's the mental fortitude that the players are lacking, but there's also the manager. Like Spurs for me are a reflection of the manager. right? And what I mean by that is we are so inconsistent because for whatever reason, either our initial game plan is not the right game plan for the day and we get found out and the manager doesn't do something, or the game plan is working, the team changes their game plan to counteract our game plan and the manager doesn't change quick enough. He doesn't adjust. We were just praising him the other day for West Ham. He adjusted in the first half and we reaped the rewards. This game, we just kept doing the same thing the whole game. The whole game. You've seen this team can't beat this high press. You've got someone like Dominic Solanke in the team who's actually a physical presence. Maybe you can try and go longer. Try and use him as an outlet. Nothing. Instead, the change that we saw a couple of minutes after the second half started was he took off practically every single creative player that plays in the midfield for us. He took off Kulusevski, he took off Madison, and he took off Mikey Moore, who he started. And then he plays this 4-2-4 with a roadrunner with no technical quality, no end product, no awareness of players to find in the box, no combination play. And then he's paired him with another roadrunner on the right-hand side who's got a bit more quality, right? In fact, he's got a lot more quality, but it's still redundant without guys feeding him the ball, useless out wide. It's just, and then he plays Solanke and Richarlison up top, but keeps a two-man midfield. Sorry, I think your screen's gone black. I don't know if this guy's still there. Maybe it's just me rambling to myself, but yeah, you're back now. I can't really hear you. But yeah, so you'll join when you sort out your audio. But for me, I was just perplexed. Like, managers are meant to change games. They're meant to change the direction of a game with their substitutions, like positively. You would hope that a manager uses what he has at his disposal on the bench to try and positively change the outcome of games. How can your changes make us worse? That doesn't even make sense. We were playing bad and your changes have made us worse. Once he made those changes, there was almost no sense of attacking quality or inevitability that Tottenham were going to score. There was nothing. If anything, you short-handed us in the midfield because you made us even worse in the midfield because we're still playing out at the back. We're still getting caught. Now we have less options to build out. We have less players who can actually take the ball in the half turn and can play it. He kept on Basuma for so long, and then brought on Sarr to play in the two-man midfield. Then he had Sarr and Bentancur in the two. It's bad. It's just bad management. And I want Ange to be a success. I really do. And I don't want him sacked. But I just think he's got another thing coming. If he thinks that we can maintain this inconsistency throughout the season and his job's not at risk. Spurs have lost. Listen, the Europa League and the League Cup literally like polishes a turd for me, right? And don't get me wrong, the team and the manager deserve credit for being professional, going in those cup competitions and getting the business done. Because that's more than we can say from teams in the past. We've made hard work of this, but so far, 3 wins out of 3. Can't really knock our Europa record. I've got a lot of words to say about our League Cup performance, but I'll save it for today. But these are against teams that we expect to beat. We're going into these games and we are overwhelming favourites. Like, it would be an absolute catastrophe if Spurs lost these fixtures. When we're playing up against teams that were better than in the league, but can compete with Tottenham, that can beat Tottenham, what can the manager do in the Prem? 4 losses out of 9. I think this is either our second or worst ever start to a Premier League campaign in like 20 years. Like, there's only so much me liking the manager, etc., can do. Because if you continue to lose matches, you're going to make your position untenable. You're on mute, man. You're on mute. I don't know what's going on with your sound. But yeah, man, I just think it's weird. It's weird. He'll be back. Tosin will be back. But I just think it's weird, man. And I, for the life of me, can't understand why it has to be this way. Because I look at the upside, and that's why I want him to stay. I think we've played good football for the most part. I think we have maybe not a perfect set of players, but we have a good enough set of players to be spitting out better results. But what my issue is with this team is The players aren't consistent. The manager doesn't consistently do what we need him to do with this team. And when I'm looking at the personnel as well, I'm seeing one too many players struggle. I really am. I'm seeing one too many players struggle. And when one too many players are struggling, I think Pedro Porro has not been good. I think Destiny Odogi's form has been up and down. I think the centre-back partnership has not been good enough this season. I think Dominic Solanke, I think he's played good football, but I don't think we're creating enough. Wait. Wait. I'm not saying he's playing bad. I don't think as a team we're creating enough for him. No, I don't think we're creating enough for him.
You've bought a striker. You've seen what got him goals at Bournemouth, and you do absolutely none of that when you buy him. Absolutely none of that.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with JC. I said I'm an Arsenal. He says I'm an Arsenal fan, so biased. But I agree. I don't want him sacked. I don't want the guy sacked. I don't want him sacked. All I'm saying is this: irrespective of what I want, what this Spurs fan wants, what that Spurs fan wants, it's going to get to a point where if Spurs continue to lose these matches in the Prem, 4 losses in 9, that's almost half our games we've lost this season. That's mad.
Wow.
4 losses in 9. If we get dumped out of the League Cup to Man City and we lose this weekend to Aston Villa at home, which I don't think is going to happen. I think we'll bounce back against Aston Villa, and I expect a positive result, a positive response against Man City. But hypothetically, if he loses both those games, bro, it's really, really sticky for Ange. It really is. Because then that would be 6 losses from 11.
You're saying if he loses those games as if it's not highly likely that he could. Your team, like, that's not really on. The only thing you can level at Ange is that he needs a plan B. He's not got.
It's not just plan B. Sometimes your plan A needs tweaking as well. It's not just plan B.
Yeah, if your plan A needs tweaking, actually no, I don't even think it's a plan A thing. I just don't think he's got anything else to his toolkit. That's it. You know how he's gonna play. You know how he's gonna set up. And then when teams figure that out, what do you do then? What have you got? You've got nothing. It's like that. At least have some humility to try something different, to vary things. I don't think you can't. You're not Pep, you know. You're not Pep. You're not Jurgen, where what you've done is so consistent that you can continue to do it.
This is literally abominable, bro. This away record is an absolute shambles, bro. Shambles. Like, this stinks to high heavens. Stinks. And but if he doesn't nip this in the bud, it might be undoing.
What's your expectations? What's your expectations? Because you know your team lacks leaders. You know your manager plays the same way. Like,
I expect us to beat Crystal Palace. I expect us to beat Crystal Palace. I expect us to dispatch of Brighton. I expect Spurs to win these games. We're more than capable of winning these games.
Yeah,
but for whatever reason, players. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's a mix. The manager, I feel like he can do more. He's not doing enough this season. The players are not doing enough this season. It's just the whole thing too inconsistent.
You leave that Palace match thinking the manager can do more. He ain't telling Romero to do. He ain't telling Romero to do stupid passes like that in his box.
Did you not just hear what I said about the subs he made? It's both. It's both. It's not just. Listen, I went through the players. I told you that they're all playing. We got one too many players dropping the levels in performances or not giving us consistent performances. I just feel like the manager also needs to do more. Spurs are far too inconsistent. We're so inconsistent. It's not good.
Moving like Dortmund
in the league, we are so inconsistent. And listen, if this is what we have in store for us this season, fans won't be happy. But listen, I know we've got 1 minute left on the clock. I've actually got a meeting to start at to actually join. That starts at 7 o'clock. Tosin, thanks for hopping on. I know you're in Barcelona, so thanks for taking the time out. Folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Apologies for the impromptu stream setup. I've been busy all day, so I didn't have the time to set it up. Yeah, man, look out for my post-match reaction. I'm going to be at the Man City game on Wednesday, so I'll be reacting to that game straight after the match outside the stadium or inside the stadium. So let's hope that Spurs get a positive result. I want to say this. I actually want to say this. Our home record has actually been fairly decent, but I want it to be better. However, I do think we have a knack of reacting in some of these games positively. I hope that's the case against Aston Villa. I do think I'm sorry. I think we should be going into that game looking to beat Aston Villa. I've not really been impressed,
Where's it
but
at?
I do think
Park or White Hart Lane?
it's at our ground. It's at our ground.
Oh, come on. I think you can beat him. Come on.
100%. 100%. But the problem is, go on.
They're not as good this season.
I agree, but the problem is
They're
they're still churning out results, and they got a manager who can adjust. He actually can adjust.
Yeah, he can. He can.
But anyway,
he's a better manager than Ange.
Yeah, he is. He's a better manager than Ange. But anyway, people, do the damn thing. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channels. Keep the post notifications turned on, so at least next time when I publish the live stream next week, you'll know that it's happening. Tosin, take care. People,
Cheers, man.
Enjoy your evenings. Peace.
Take care, guys. Yeah. Oh.